Oh,
I have notes. We'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, I did go over his resume and I did, like I said, he seems professionally,
Seems professionally qualified.
well overqualified.
Yeah. So he might intimidate some of our other members, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
I don't think so either. Do you have any other? Okay,
I will make a move to,
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to public hearings. There are no public hearings. There is no old business. New business, item 6A, Marion County intergovernment agreement with encrypted radio, police radios. Chief Flowers will present.
Yeah, before Chief Flowers gets up here to present, I just wanted to clarify. We do not have a contract with Marion County. We wanted to have the discussion with council about our research and what we think the best direction is. It will be up to you. The contract will be a rather small service contract, which can just be approved administratively. If you want a contract to come back to you at the end of this discussion, we're more than happy to bring that back. But I think right now, what we would like to do is just get you the information and then get direction from you on how you want us to proceed. The staff report was written under the understanding that we'd have a contract and then we'd bring it and have the full discussion, but we don't have that yet, so.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so the information that I sent out in the staff report is basically based on those documents that I have also put with it. I just tried to incorporate it in the staff report so that you would have something to be looking for when we do get a contract and if we move forward with this. To give you some kind of back history on this whole radio system, we are using a radio system that is well beyond its means. For the last 20 years, we've been talking about trying to replace this thing. And every time we get some headway on replacing it, some other idea comes up or somebody else brings in something new or a merger is talked about and then it gets put on hold so long that that one falls through and we have to put more Band-Aids on the system that we're using. I can't remember if it's UHF or VHF, the system that we're on now, the legacy system. It is problem after problem. I don't know if you read some of my staff report talking about just one of the issues that I had. I can't talk to my officer on the other side of a house. It's that bad sometimes. So if an officer needs help, we don't have help if we're in a dead area. So that's one of the reasons we've been looking at a new radio system for a long time. We finally got this merger with Marion County presented again. They're already building the site and they're hoping to roll it out in 2026. The information provided would be like what the funds would be the first year. There was a lot of talking back and forth on these funds and a lot of heartburn over it with some agencies. As you can see, the fire department's cost on this document here with all the agencies involved, they lowered the cost for the fire departments due to how many radios that they would have to purchase for their rigs. It's incredibly high. As of right now, all of the police agencies that I know of that are a part of Metcom, excluding Turner, because they're hiring a new chief, they're going to let him make the decision, are going to be moving to this new radio system. I would say that I want to be on the same radio system as Turner and Aumsville, or excuse me, Turner and Staten, because we all cover each other and we talk to each other a lot. So that's kind of one of my pushes to be on the system. I know that all the fire and all the police agencies, from what I hear, are going to be moving to the new system. All the South County fire departments so far that I know of, they're not going to be moving to the system just due to cost. So that leaves us with the options on what our options are if we choose to go to this radio system, great, but there's a cost associated with it. And there's a contractual agreement that they're going to put out, which it's only going to go up 3% every year, up to, I think it's 3031. And then after that, I think we're going to be in some discussions. I'm assuming that it'll stay at 3, but there's a committee that's going to be put together. It's going to have a fire agency representative, police representative, Marion County representative, that all put together this committee that's going to control how much it charges. So that's kind of my push. I wanted you to have the information. I know that Commissioner Willis has offered to come out along with the Public Works Director for Marion County to give any kind of presentation to give you further details if you want this. That's something that they're available to do if you like. And I can expand on some of that if you would like me to, if there's anything that you have questions about.
We don't really have any questions, but I mean, just for the sake of boarding, apparently now running, what would our alternative be? I mean, we'd be all by ourselves.
So no, our alternative is at this point right now, our alternative is to stay on the system that we already have, which is a nightmare. That's what the South County Fire Departments are doing. Now, I don't know what the discussion is going to be with the fire departments on what they're going to do to move to a new system. But they're going to be absorbing all the costs because all these other agencies at Metcom are going to the new radio system. So that's kind of up in the air right now because right now there's no discussion of what they're going to go to other than stay on what we have.
Which is not really an option because then we would just not be able to talk to anybody.
Correct. And
Huge
I mean, it's,
Safety issue.
We would actually be information from Metcom to the new system. So we could still talk to people on the new system, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, but it would be a relay, which means there would be a delay in.
so this new system that we're going to, you're right. We can talk to agencies that are on our system now. We have to switch channels. The people that are on that system cannot switch channels and talk to us. That's the drawback. So we would have to switch to the channel to have any kind of communication. Or if we don't get the radio system and we stay with where we're at, they're going to have to switch to our channel. I can't switch to theirs. I'd have to relay everything through Metcom. A little bit about the cost other than the per month per radio. The radio numbers could go up or down 1 or 2 depending on what we do with patrol cars and what we do with personnel. I just highlighted what we have now, 6 patrol cars. We got 7 full-time officers and 3 reserves. So that's 10 portables, 6 mobiles. That could go up or down if we decide to, get rid of a car, or if we end up hiring another person or doing away with a position, those could go up and down. The cost of the radios in hand is nothing. It comes with the monthly fee. So they're going to issue all of our radios free of cost. They're going to install the radios in the cars free of cost. The only charge would be after that. Anything that's outside of the warranty or wear and tear that's natural that, gets damaged on a call, we would be responsible for that. Or if we have to replace the radio that's outside of the warranty, we would be responsible for that.
So in your expert opinion, this is what we need to do?
In my expert opinion, I think we need to move to a new radio system for sure. This is the only one that's an option at this time. And most other agencies at Metcom are going to this radio system. So I'm pushing to roll this out. That's why I'm here today. I kind of put it off for a while because I didn't have a lot of information and I didn't want to come to you with information that I just said, I don't know. But I'm at the point now where I know a lot of information. So here I am. And I'm happy to reach out to the commissioner and the public works director if you'd like to hear some more, because they're happy to come out.
So is there a contract? I mean, we don't have a contract. Is there like a set amount of time? Do we have to sign a contract for
They're still in
5
discussions.
years or anything?
Yeah, that's still in discussion. They're trying to finalize who all wants to be a part of this so they can actually draft it up. Because as you can see from the charts, it's like a $1.1 million overview cost. And if some departments don't join, it could make other departments pay more. If more departments join in, the cost will go down. They've assured us if they absorb more agencies, our cost will start to go down a little because they're going to absorb some of the cost. But right now, that first year at $46 a month per radio is what it's set at now.
It's the 8832, that's for the first year annual.
Yes.
$8,832.
So
That's
yes,
16 radios.
correct.
Correct, okay. And the radios coming with that, that's more than $16,000.
The radios, I'm sorry,
If
say that
they
again.
come with it.
Yeah, they come
You
with
wanted to
it.
buy them.
Each radio is
that'd be-
roughly $1,000 to $1,300 just for like one of these radios. Now the ones in the car are more.
So. Seems like a good thing to me.
So do they carry the warranty and the replacement cost and everything that goes along with it?
Yes, I think it's on page
I
2 or
read that in
3.
there
Yeah.
that.
But yes,
David-
It's somewhere, but I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. They basically own and operate the system. Marion County owns and operates it. We're just a user. The only thing that we're liable for is anything that we damage or it gets damaged on a call, something that's outside the warranty, or we buy more radios as we hire more personnel.
So we could just add more radios to.
Yes, if we add more radios, it's just more like $46 a month per that radio. And then each year it goes up 3%. I think I included a chart all the way up to 3031 or 2031.
Well, it sounds to me like it's a good deal considering we don't have to buy anything and they install it.
Okay.
Well.
Other than
there's
the-
a couple of side notes here for council, so keep in mind, this doesn't change our Metcom dispatch fees.
Correct.
Those fees still stay the same and will continue to escalate. It's just equipment. This is a hardware contract. And we're not really asking for a motion to approve a contract or to go onto the system. Really, it's just that if you want us to move towards this system, we'll work with them to develop the contract. Once we get contract language, we'll either sign it pending on how you want to review it, or we'll bring it back to you. So one of those two things.
I would like to see a contract.
Yeah.
I do have lots of concerns and feelings about this. I don't want to do anything that would, I don't want to propose anything that would put our officers in safety. I want to be supportive of, and I understand, and I read that in here. But I also have been in meetings on how the system was chosen, and I kind of feel like Marion County bullied us into this. And I just want to put that on the record. Like, I don't like the way this came about. I don't like how smaller towns are being forced. And that is my personal opinion after attending quite a few meetings.
You're not
but-
alone in that thought.
So I kind of feel like that needs to be just out there.
Yeah.
And I'm also interested to know like what this, I see the numbers here, but I would like to see how this is going to affect our overall budget in our finances, the police budget. But I would like to see that as well. We've been really fortunate that we have not had to bring up the police fee. And I'm of the mind, as long as we can wait to put that on the, if we don't have to bring that up, I don't want to bring it up. But I do have concerns on how it's going to affect the overall budget in the long term. So I would like to see that as well. Those are my feelings about it. I don't know if anyone else wants to share.
If you buy the radio equipment outright, do you get out of the monthly installment?
Nope.
Basically,
No.
so you'd still have to pay that?
Yeah, that's just the monthly cost per radio, because it's not only just paying for the hardware, it's paying for all the data. So these radios are so advanced, they're encrypted. I can't get into the details because I'm kind of ignorant when it comes to like the details of radios. But anytime you key up, it's going to key up which officers key up. It's going to key up how long that officer talked. It tracks so much more than our radios do now. And is talking about, is my expert opinion if this is something we should go to. Right now, the system that we're on, I can buy, like I was telling you earlier, I could buy 150 radios, and just the cost of the radios alone is all it costs me. I can throw them on the system for free. It doesn't cost me anything. Our Metcom dispatch fees would stay the same, but they're the old system. They don't track like these are. They're not encrypted. So these new radios, they come with a lot more features, and I can't even get into all the details of what they are without doing some more research on the individual radios and what the P25 capable encrypted 700-800 megahertz. That's all kind of outside of my expertise, but enough research has been done on my end of what they're going to provide for us. And that's why I'm here with this.
And we would still have to have a contract with Metcom. This won't replace it. So this is on top of it. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, we'll still have our Metcom contract and the fees with the 190 agreement. This would be completely separate through Marion County. Yeah.
Is there any indication that this would be a problem with our budget? Are we concerned that we wouldn't have this in our budget?
Well, we actually budgeted for this last year in our current budget estimates and our current budget projections, but keep in mind, we are 8 years into the public safety fee, which was supposed to be reevaluated in 5.
We've been really fortunate.
So we've
Yeah.
been fortunate to extend that, and I'll be talking in my presentation later tonight. We're coming to the point where we're gonna have to start making some decisions on that. The fee needs to go, it's gonna need to go up. We've outlasted that projected scale that we put in there. And then the question is just based on policy, how much? How much does it go up? So if we want to continue to maintain 7, that number might be a little larger. But it would have to go up even to maintain 6. It can't stay where it is either. We'd have to reduce drastically or increase that fee. But I feel like we made a commitment to the community for good stewardship. We did that. We were very thoughtful about spending money through the PD. We made those dollars last. We did not suggest any raises within the 5 years. And we kept it a sustainable number. It did not escalate. So we did all those things we were supposed to do.
We got the new budget guy coming too.
And to go along with savings, we did a lot of work
Crunch
with
the numbers.
equipment that we've had and did lots of trade-ins. It didn't cost us anything to get all new firearms, all new holsters. We're getting some tasers from OSP that are updated for the whole department. I mean, that's like $18,000. So we're doing a lot of work to try to save money versus spending money to get our equipment updated.
We appreciate that. Nice job.
Thank you.
Do you have any other concerns?
My only concern is what the contract's gonna say after this 5 years. If they got something drawn up, the 5 years, it's only 3%. We already know what we're gonna be paying now in 2031. What happens after that? That's my concern. Because when you talked about bullying, I'm not feeling like I'm being bullied into it. It was presented in a way like, hey, we're building this system. If you'd like to join in, let us know. That's how it was presented. And then letters were fired out to councils and mayors like, hey, we don't think you're getting the right information. So we're going around the chiefs. And it's like, whoa, we didn't even have the information yet. So it does feel like we're kind of being bullied into it. But I think at this time, this is the route that we need to go. I would love to see the other option that we were looking at, 5, 6 years ago with Metcom which was developing our own P25 capable system. And just use the Metcom agencies. But since this come up with the 7-800, everybody's interested in that new technology that's with Metcom and they're wanting to move to this system. So it's kind of like they're making the decision for us a little bit on what systems are available to us. And then that would come to either jumping to a different dispatching agency, which would be WVCC, but that's mainly Salem and Marion County. They're going to be on the new radio system. Or jumping outside of Marion County to a different dispatching system, which brings into the 190 agreement concerns with legal matters regarding jumping out of Metcom. There's some legal stuff about that. I think Hubbard's going through that right now.
And they're gonna train all you guys on the new stuff?
Yeah,
They provide
comes
that?
with training, comes with radios, comes with installation.
I'd like to see you come back after you've taken a look at the contract.
Yep.
Explain any concerns you have with the contract and I don't want to just be handed a contract.
Yeah, definitely. I can come back.
I would like to see the contract.
Yeah. As soon as I get it,
I want to see the contract too, but I want to know what think.
Does that change the motions that are presented on our options, Ron?
Don't take one motion.
We don't need one.
We don't,
Yeah.
okay,
We
Okay.
just need consensus that you're okay with us moving forward.
yeah,
Conceptually, we're not signing anything, but we'll indicate that we're ready to see a contract.
and it's mainly to address the council because there was a concern that the councils aren't getting the information when we didn't have the information. So now that I have information, I want to get it to you as soon as possible.
all right.
I was not concerned about that.
Any other questions for me?
I don't have any.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so moving on to city administrator, I think, are we on that? Yeah. Moving on to city administrator report, Ron?
Back to go.
Hold on, let me make sure.
Forward is backwards, backwards is forward. I don't know, I didn't.
That's why I
said it. We just looked to. Just
Thank you. council, for your discussion on that. So this is the time of the year I always do my state of the city report. So as you know, why do we present a state of the city? Well, it's a culmination of our milestone accomplishments throughout the year. I'm gonna kind of put my back to the audience here so I can see the screen. It measures the city administrator's performance against goals established by the council. So every year we have a goal planning retreat and the council gives me direction. And then throughout the year, we bring things to the council and then those become deliverables throughout the year. So it's gives the council a chance to measure what did you tell me to do and what did we actually get done. It informs residents about the city's performance outside of a vacuum event. What I mean by that is somebody's upset over, parking or land use or something like that. That's not the time we want to talk about our successes. We want to talk about our successes in a normal interval and outside of that kind of discussion. Typically with my presentation, I'll identify what our emerging challenges are. That doesn't mean these are all the challenges the city faces. It just means what are the immediate challenges over the next year or so. It strengthens transparency and accountability to the community when we talk about not just all the projects that we've done, but the things that we're going to have to tackle and the hard reality of what that means and some of those decisions. And then I think it celebrates good stewardship of the public trust because in the last several years, the staff and council worked together to develop plans. And when you see these presentations year after year and you watch that progressiveness of the things that we've done, I think it would be difficult to criticize that staff and council are really working to benefit the community in its entirety. And you see that in the things that we have accomplished, and we could not accomplish those things unless we have or had a team working together to be able to do that. And when we have these projects and assignments, we've got our department heads here from both Public Works and Administration and Police, and we work really well together. This has been one of the most cohesive teams I've had in many years. So I just remind council what your policies are. The only reason why I put this in here, it's typically not a state of the city thing, but I put it in here just so council see those more often. And basically growth pays for growth. That's kind of our overriding policy. So when we talked about building this puzzle or building this plan, it had financial components, it had visionary components for the community, and then what encompassed all of those things. What were some of the negative things we heard during the visioning process? One of those things was developers come in and they make money and then they leave the community, and then we're stuck with different pieces of infrastructure that didn't get put in or sidewalks or whatever. And so we developed this overriding policy that says growth pays for growth. And that means if you impact pedestrian areas, you have to put in sidewalks. And if you're going to park cars, you've got to put in asphalt and parking spaces. And stormwater, you've got to build your stormwater system and connect to the system properly so that the city and through the city residents don't end up having to flip that bill later at some point. We don't make laws for an individual. Laws apply to everybody. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't take a soft approach to code enforcement. We do. Our primary function or primary starting position is compliance. We want everybody to comply. And if we can get compliance without moving to a harsher penalty stage, that's what we want to do. So we do try to do that. But if somebody's in violation of the law, we will enforce it. That's our job among everybody. And we don't change laws in the moment, meaning somebody comes up and tells council, I want to be able to do X and the code doesn't allow it. We've set this policy that said, we'll look at those things. We'll study those as part of our development code updates to see if it has a greater community-wide impact. But we shouldn't be changing a law at that council meeting. We shouldn't just be saying, okay, you can do it. So those are our three policies. And then these are our goals: provide and maintain municipal facilities and infrastructure to support current operations and growth. That's really the big goal, the main goal that we focus a lot of energy, because there's been a lot of deferred infrastructure, and it's deferred for a reason. And the reason is it's expensive, and we can't do it all at once. And what happens is because you're so far behind in time that more infrastructure is going to outlive its life capacity, and that challenge just gets bigger and bigger. But the last few years, we've really bit off some big projects. Support and encourage community involvement to create a sense of community and enhance livability. Create an environment to attract, retain, and grow businesses. And that doesn't mean that we just give businesses a pass or development a pass. But what it means is that we put processes in place that aren't frustrating or overly time consuming or expensive. Businesses still have to come in and they'll have to do site improvements and parking and landscaping and those types of things that they would do in any other community. But we just try to streamline that process. So there's not an unknown out there for their investment initiatives. Ensure safe and prepared environment for businesses. It should say for community and businesses. We might have lost that on there, but and that's things like our public safety initiatives, but there's a lot of stuff within that. Emergency preparedness, all kinds of things within that goal. Provide services that are responsive to citizens and demonstrate good stewardship. And I think you'll see in the presentation that we do hit the marks on those. So these are just some of the projects that we completed in 2025. As council knows, a lot of our projects overlap. So, we might begin them in late 2024. We get a grant in 2024, but we actually construct in 2025. But these are all the projects. A couple of big ones has really been related to our wastewater project. We awarded some pretty large contracts towards the end of 2024. And then in 2025, we were able to reduce the cost of one of those contracts by $400,000. And that was just working with the vendor on some value engineering, and they voluntarily gave us a reduction. So that was, I think it was a $1.7 million contract originally, and we got it reduced by $400,000. That's pretty significant. Approved the final design of our treatment facility. That's actually, I think we're close. We're at the tail end of that final design right now, and I think it's in DEQ's hands for review, but we could be out, with an RFP as early as June of this year. So things are going to start to really move along quick with that. The highlighted project, 6th Street project, that's a public-private partnership that we did here on Main Street. Not only did it improve the businesses' parking, so helped with downtown business development, because it's public parking. Anybody can park there, not just if you're patroning the business, but it also did give us some pedestrian easements so that we can make connectivity on our sidewalks. Completed the fuel tank project, Heiberger Park improvements, and Porter Boone Musical Park. Those were all part of council's originally goal-setting session. A lot of these other things were byproducts of other projects that we had in the hopper or things that came to council that you approved and asked us to do. If you have any questions, just stop me and you're welcome to. We did a sewer-wide sewer scoping. That was quite a lengthy, involved project. I think it was, it was two years, and it was about $70,000 ago, so about $140,000. It's an expensive thing, but we have to scope the sewer system every so often to see if there's infiltration of roots and blockages and things like that. It's part of our system upkeep. Since we did that, there's some other cities that bought some scoping equipment. In the future, we may be able to get that done cheaper by working with another local municipality. And then, just standard operational stuff. We're creating some standard operational procedures for Corn Festival. We'll be bringing some of those forward to you at the planning retreat, but we're putting together a document so future staff, or if a board is formed, they'll have a lot of that ready-made resource and information on at least how we were doing things. Because we didn't have that when we took over the Corn Festival. We just kind of got it we just started to figure it out. So, and there was a learning curve. It was a little difficult. So just some of our completed projects. The little frog picture there, that's what Heiberger Park looks like right now. It's not quite finished. It should be done in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Got some fencing going on. The bathrooms there on the left, they're installed. You can see the pad there. And we're putting in some sidewalks tomorrow. There's exercise equipment pads that are being built out there. I think there's 3 exercise stations. So that's going to be a really nice asset, not just for the community at large, but especially that neighborhood right there that are somewhat disconnected from the other parks on this side of towns. And I will tell you that they stop by the park, but you can go out there and spend 10 minutes and there'll be a dozen people come by looking and talking, and they're very excited. So East Side Park cleanup, as council knows, we did quite a little bit with East Side Park. One is we had to finish bringing that into our UGB. That project is still ongoing because there's a lot of state documents, so you have to file with both state agencies and Marion County. We did the Marion County part. We're still working on the different requirements, and each agency requires something a little bit different. So we still haven't fully checked that off our list, but we did go through and clean it up. And if you've been out there, you can see, but if you look to the right, it's much more manageable. And I think, do we still have a farmer doing grass hay out there? So yeah, we've got a farmer that's keeping it maintained, like we had it all graded, and I think we did some channelization. Some of the neighbors out there were concerned with some of the runoff, and we helped alleviate some of that for them. Our reservoir booster station in 2024, we did complete the reservoir, which is that tower with the artwork on it. And we were still doing the booster station. And many of you got a tour of that late last year in 2025. It wasn't quite done, but it is completed and offers redundancy in our drinking system, which is one of the things that we lack behind. If a system went down, we were down. And so we're trying to employ some of that. Our water reservoir cleaning project, this is actually kind of amazing to me when you see the before and afters. Now, as council understands and knows from our discussions, we have to do an interior tank clean, which is the most expensive part of that. But staff worked with a vendor and got that all clean, pressure washed, and we did painting on that too, right? You did some area painting on the top.
There's some wall chips and stuff that still need to be done on the outside.
Yeah. But as you can tell, it looks really good. And maintaining your equipment is half the battle. It's easy to forget about this stuff, but if you don't maintain it, its life expectancy diminishes. One of the things we'll be looking at is wrapping that with artwork. That was in one of our goal setting sessions, but we never brought it forward for a project. We wanted to get the other one done, and we'll get some costs for doing that as well. New electric vehicles, they've been purchased. We paid for them. We're just waiting for the tool boxes and stuff to be installed, and then we'll have those. But we got those free. And again, that's just shows good stewardship. We do have a a vehicle replacement fund, but anytime we can extend the life of that fund, it lowers the cost of the community. So we're always looking for those opportunities. Albeit it takes a long time with some of these grants, and this one was a lengthy one. This is that strict Sixth Street improvements. You can see at the bottom right there is what it looked like before, and then top left and top right is what it looks like now. And in this particular project, the business owner came forward with some funds. He wanted to just add some asphalt because his asphalt was cracking, and you can see where it's all crocodiled there, chipping out. And we took a step back and said, you know, there's a bigger city project here that we can do. So we can put some funds in, take your funds and make a bigger project. I think they're very excited for this project to have been done and completed. Wildwood Park, so it's kind of hard to tell by this picture, but if you look at, this here was kind of this like monkey bar thing. Our insurance company wanted that thing out of there. We had some requests for some toddler equipment, so we went ahead and purchased this equipment. Our public works department installed it. And so this is, again, back to good stewardship. I want to say we paid 10,000 or less for that equipment. And our folks installed it. Now, of course, there's some expense to that. And if I ask them at a public meeting, they'll say, yes, they want to install it. But the reality is, you know, they prefer to have somebody else do it because it's outside of their area of expertise, but they did a fantastic job and it looks really good. And so we might have $15,000 into that project and we got some equipment. Now, compare that to the grant that we got for Heiberger Park, which is $383,000. So of course, it's a different equipment. It's a lot more elaborate, but again, trying to meet that good stewardship. This was our fuel tank project. For a lot of reasons, this hits a number of our goals. One is public safety, because now we have our own fuel depot station. If we were to have experienced some sort of an event where fuel is always the one of the commodities that you can't get, transportation and communications, those are the two. We'll have our own fuel. If we have a large scale event, we'll be able to at least have a initial or immediate response to that event. Now, how long that lasts or how long the event goes, you know, that'll depend on the event. But as you can see, that's where we put it there. And then the tanks are on the right. Now, this will double as a way for us to manage our fuel costs too, because now our police department, our public works folks will all fuel up here and we'll be able to track that usage right down to the vehicle. So each vehicle has their own identifier. And so we can see how much we're using and manage that. Musical playground, you can see on the left, that was, I mean, we oh, yeah. On the left, that was actually, we had already started laying it out and it worked out really good. This was a low cost project to the community. We got a couple of local corporations to donate some money towards that. We did some, well, they call them Easter eggs, but branding, you can see the little corn cobs. We added that later as part just of our community-wide identity and branding that we do. And I hear kids, I go down there, I hear kids. Now, summertime, it'll be more busy than it is right now, but I hear them down there playing on it. And some of them actually make music, so, and it's pretty good. Just a grant timeline, just to remind council, you know, we really geared up for wastewater grants. And then once that kind of came to an end where we had to cut off the grant cycle for funding, that was in 23 and 24. And so we're doing other grants, but we're really right now shifted on implementation of these grants and managing these grants. So you're going to see that over the next couple of years. We'll still go out for some smaller grants, but we're we're not spending all of our energy trying to get grants, this next year or two. This is just our grant activity. Now, this is when I say, we're scaling back grant activity, we're still applying for lots of grants, whatever's available. These were things that we applied for. We'll still go out for the small city allotment grant. We'll still look for ORPD grants. We'll still do the Pacific Power, community grants. So we'll still do a lot of those grants, but they're just not millions and millions of dollars. They're thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then back to that, our plan is through 2026, 2028, we're going to focus a little bit less. Next, we didn't apply this legislative session for a potable water grant because I still think we have to focus exactly what we want to do before we apply for a grant. But my intention is in the long session next January, we'll have an application ready to go for that. So. Events, as all of you know, because I've seen all of you at our community-wide events, they're well attended. People really enjoy them. We get lots of compliments. Other than Corn Festival, it's not tens of thousands of people, it's hundreds to thousands of people, but they're all very happy at these events, and it's creating that sense of community, which is the objective. And so other than Corn Festival, we budget about $15,000 on community-wide events. I don't know if we spend that all the time. Some years we might, some years we don't. But it really does bring a big bang back to those families that really can't afford to go out and do things and other paid events elsewhere. So a lot of our events are free. Just to show the progression of what we're building up. So last year we tracked almost 1,200 volunteer hours by community members. That was about 150 when I first started to track this years ago. So you could see we're really building up a core group of volunteers. A lot of it is organizations that have gotten involved. And you can see Corn Festival at 694. That's just a few years ago, it was 250, I think 250 hours, which was a lot, but 694 was really good. So it worked out. It worked out really well. So volunteers, we're building those up. Just some of our events. You got to see it in pictures. The top left there is our corn bagging event. We do that on the Friday before Corn Festival. And I think that's our biggest volunteer turnout. I mean, we just get a great group of people. And as you can see, they're all excited and they process that corn in a couple of hours.
Is that when they started or when they finished?
That's in the middle. So you can see their table's still full. So they're, 2 hours of that hard work. It's 2 hours of very hard work. Maybe 2 to 3, something like that. But we've made it easier on them with bagging stations and tables and, but it's still hard work. But we get people that are 4 years old and we get people that are over 90 years old and they all come to volunteer and they all have a part and a role to play and they do it. More Corn Festival pictures. Over the years, we've been building up with various events and it's been well received. And then just to show you our Corn Festival profits this year exceeded previous years. Council and I have talked about reserve policies for Corn Festival. And so the idea is to be able to sustain the dollars that we give to the local nonprofits. So not every year is going to be a bunker year. We're going to get busy doing other things, or we're going to get caught up in emergencies and things like that. We want to make sure that we can continue to sustain those community-wide services. Superhero Carnival, another good event. Easter egg. Our pumpkin event was a great event out there. Christmas in the Park, I thought one of our better Christmas in the Parks myself. I thought it was great. Like the theme. Just things like, the interchange development project, that was a large project. Now, we haven't heard anything from them and their approval is getting close to the end. But when I first came here, there were a number of barriers to that project, even being feasible. And we were able to work through those barriers and lower those. And then, for the applicants at the time, the process, I think, was not grossly difficult as compared to it would have been in some other cities. It was a fairly streamlined process. So those are the things we're doing to help with business growth. It's not, giving away something or giving something that belongs to the community, but it's just making sure they have certainty in their business model from us. And so we did the Clover Street subdivision. That's, going like crazy. Sixth Street improvements in partnership with the local business, updating the development code. Updating the system development charges, that may seem a little counterintuitive. We did that project this year, which raised the system development charges for new development. But why that's important is it also keeps current businesses on a level playing field. So when a new business comes in, they're buying in at market value. And that's important if you're an existing business that had to pay that at whatever market rate was at the time, that they're paying that inflated rate. So they're all on an equal playing field. So that's why that's in there. Insured, safe and prepared. So we do articles in the newsletter as part of our emergency mitigation plan, where we, inform residents on emergency kits and different things that they can do to be prepared. The fuel station, we updated our emergency management plan this year. We didn't bring it to council for approval yet, but the chief and Public Works worked with Marion County. They got a grant that we were able to use to help update the plan. And so right now what we're doing is organizing the plan, so it's not disjointed, and then that'll come back to you for approval. But it's important that we keep the language updated, because every few years, the federal government goes through these different updates at the FEMA level. And if our language isn't aligned with their language, then it could potentially mean we wouldn't be able to get money or recovery dollars. And so that's really important. And it's important for us to talk the same language if there is a large scale event, right? So we want to make sure we're acting appropriately. Elementary bike rodeos. You can see a lot of these could be an event. They're listed in a number of places, so it could be a community-wide event. It could be emergency preparedness, but the police department leads that, and they do a bike rodeo with the elementary school. And it's really all about bike safety with the kids, and teaching them roadway safety and what to look for, and make sure that they've got their helmets on properly, and that they have a helmet and all those good things. They've done multiple safety presentations with both the elementary and junior high school. Typically, the police department will also go out for their career day, and the kids will all put on drunk goggles, and they get to experience what it's like to drink and drive. And I think, honestly, it's just a great, valuable lesson, because I think after they wear those, they're like, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I shouldn't attempt to do that. So I think that's good. I'll talk a little bit more about the police department accreditation in the next slide. We also did get that portable emergency generator. I don't think it's here yet, but we got the grant, we picked it out. I think we're just waiting for the delivery and stuff, and then National Night Out. Again, that could be an event, but they're all public safety related. One of the things the chief and I, mainly the chief and his department, has been working on is getting our police department accredited. It's normally about a 2-year process, and we've been working on it for about 8 months now. Yeah, so we're going to be done within a 12-month period, which is a pretty fast rate. But that just means we were organized, and a lot of the things that we had in place, policies and procedures, already aligned with the accreditation requirements. And so once we get accredited, I know some council members expressed concern about how are we retaining officers once we hire officers. Well, to me, the biggest obstacle is sustainable funding, because if an officer gets hired and goes through their FTO, remember we did that Maslow's theory of motivation slide. People have to be secure. They have to know that they're secure in their job to feel secure. They have to know that they're safe. Those are the first foundational motivations. And so I think once we get our decision behind us on funding, that's going to help with a lot of that. But the second thing is they want to have a lot of pride. They want to know they're in a department that is modern, that's professional, and this accreditation does help get us there. So it was important that we had that.
There a specific measure accreditation that involves our radio system?
I'm not sure that it addresses it.
It's mostly our use of force policies, lexipol policies that we utilize. We adopt a lot of those policies, and it's making sure that all of those things conform within the industry standard. We're also doing a CGIS accreditation because we have to be CGIS certified. A lot of small departments CGIS didn't really pay attention to, but they changed that policy. And now they're going through an auditing. So we've been kind of working on this as twofold, to be CGIS compliant, but also to meet that accreditation.
I
So
would assume there's some kind of requirement in there about emergency communication, effective communications.
Yeah, so part of the accreditation is not only just making sure that we have an updated policy, we have to prove that we follow it. We do have a radio section in the policy on communication, but we have to not only just show that it's updated, but we got to show them proof of how we've followed that. So that's part of it. That's why it takes so long to fill it out, because we're cutting and pasting different things to not only say, hey, this is all updated, meets state law, meets federal law, but now it also shows another factor of how we're following it. So we have to prove that. And then every year we have to do some updates after we're accredited, and every 3 years you have to redo the entire process again. So we don't have to be accredited right now, but it's for in the future, all agencies in Oregon will have to be accredited. But our size, we don't have to right now. But I want to get that step ahead and just go ahead and do it. We did get another grant to help pay for Power DMS, which is the system that we use to do that. So a lot of this is free for 4 years. So
again, back to good stewardships. That's not in the slide presentation because we'll talk about that next year. But it does send a positive message to the community if we're accredited. We know we're following professional guidelines and policies, and they're tested all the time, trust me. But if we can get the accreditation done, we can make sure we inform the community that we went through that vigorous review as well. So, and then providing responsive service that demonstrates good citizenship. I mean, I can list all of those things: the legislative updates, the events, the programs, things like the installing the playground in Wildwood Park. That was an initiative some community members threw out there, and we examined it. They didn't make a big deal. They just said, we wish we had that out there. And then we looked at those communications and we said, okay, let's look at that and see, what do we have out there? And is that something that we could do? A lot of times it's not a matter of would we want to do it. It's we can't really afford to do it or we don't have the capacity to do it. But this was one of those cases that worked out. Public Works was willing to install it. I was able to get it from a certified manufacturer, fairly inexpensive, and so it worked out. So that's just goes to show that good stewardship. And then this was a slide from a couple of years ago, but I wanted to recreate it because it hasn't changed in its trajectory. But as you can see, these are our budget recovery funds. So back in 2016, 2017, we were at a point where our expenses exceeded our revenue. Okay. And then there was a lot of concern. Well, what are we going to do? You can't raise taxes. How are you going to pay for all of this? And so, we were able to manage through all of those issues. And it wasn't just one issue that was causing the problem. It was a lot of issues. It was things like our franchise agreement negotiations. Some of them we were spending a lot of money and getting hardly anything in return. And they were all over the board. Leases to different companies had a lot of variables in it, and through just public land that we had that we leased out. And so one of the things that we had talked about as part of our whole financial plan was one of the pieces to that puzzle is that we need to align all those contracts. And we've been systematically doing that over the last few years, and that has increased some of our revenue. And then I wanted to show you this because in 2016, that same year, these are just indicators. In of it themselves, they don't really mean anything, but you take it in its totality. This is from our auditors. This is one of our summary pages from the auditor. 24% of city operations came from property taxes. Now, city operations were $2.8 million, and 24% of that came from property tax. In 2025, city operations were almost $8 million, and only 13% came from property tax. So through the work that we've done, and it's not one thing, it's contracts, it's leases, it's grants, all those things, we've been able to increase the services that we offer and the cost of those services that have increased to the community for a much lower cost or a bigger bang for their buck. And this slide just gives you that example. So residents paid $1.2 million, and that was in property taxes citywide and public safety fee, because those are the two things we call out. But they got almost $10 million in services back to the community. And so, they're getting like an 8-for-1 value on their dollar. So I think that is just, again, by itself, the data doesn't prove anything, but when you add it to everything else, our budget recovery numbers, and it just is an indicator that we are being good stewards of the public funds. Our ending fund balance is dipping just a little bit because last year we did $6 million, $7 million for the projects. So we dipped down a little bit, but everything's looking pretty good. I just like to put this up there because all of the highlighted ones are what we call milestone projects, but this is just everything that we've done just in the last 8 years. We've done a lot of projects. A lot of them have been milestone projects. Securing Bishop Road Park, as an example. We had no money, but we came up with a creative way to do that at a pretty inexpensive, in my opinion, a pretty low cost. That property is secure. Now, whether we do anything with it, build a park in the next year or two, I don't know. It may be years out, but the fact of the matter is this community has secured that asset, and it's going to be a lot less expensive than it would have been in 10 years from now to secure that asset. So challenges, completing our wastewater facility improvements is just part of that wastewater capital facilities plan. There's more to it than that. So once we get that facility up and running, there's going to be other challenges that we're going to have to meet. And some of those challenges could be big ticket items. And one of the challenges is, what do we do with our effluent? That's after we clean the water, where does it go? And we're running out of capacity. I mean, we've got a few years of capacity, but if we don't address it now, it's going to be an escalated problem. Remember that compounding effect that occurs that I show you all the time. So that's a challenge. Just completing this wastewater facility project, it's a $30 million project. It got 9 grants, 1 loan, and every grant has a different requirement. Some are federal, some are state. Some are different agencies in the states which have different requirements, and tracking all of that, aligning the expenses to the various contracts with all of the various amendments and the different vendors, and then administering those contracts is a huge undertaking. And, we're doing it, and we've been managing these grants, but typically a project like this, that would all be subcontracted out to a consulting firm. We wanted to save the money, so we're gonna do it. Kirsty and I, mainly Kirsty. But the two of us and Public Works and Josh, we're all tag teaming it, so. Meeting the growth mandates for the state of Oregon, I put that on there because the legislative has been constantly, the last few years, rolling these bills out that affect our community and how our community grows and how we can implement rules on that growth. And that is a complete, vacuum of what we're able to do. And we're trying to meet the vision plan that the community helped develop. But at the same time, when we developed that vision plan, we didn't know the state of Oregon was going to come in and add these new layers of governance that kind of override a lot of the things that we do. And it's getting more and more intrusive each year. So there's a lot of rulemaking going on at the administrative level. And because the bills were passed with very obscure language, those administrative rules have a lot of leadway on where they take those things. And depending on the staff that might be developing those rules, they can go in a lot of different directions. So we're going to meet some challenges with that. I said it earlier, police department funding. Josh and I, before your planning retreat, will update our forecast model. We'll look at that. Maybe that's changed a little bit. That's why we'll update it, but we're probably going to have to make some decisions on that, and we'll bring some numbers forward for you guys. Right now we're at 6 full-time officers. We have 1 vacancy, but we have a candidate in review, I believe. So, if you're thinking anything different than looking at numbers, we might want to think about pausing that. But right now we're following your guidance, which is 7 full-time officers. So drinking water quantity and source capacity, that's the presentations we had last year about where's our drinking water coming from and how are we going to be able to continue to meet the demands of the community. We have a little bit of capacity, as council knows, but it's in a shallow aquifer, and there's not a lot of water in the shallow aquifer. We're still doing research. We don't want to suggest spending any money until we have better data. So we're still looking into all those things. But for sure, in the near future, we're going to need a deeper aquifer, and we're going to need more water rights. So those are the 2 things that we're looking at a staff level right now. And then just managing the expectations of the community, it does change depending on who you're talking to. And, we try to follow the guidance and the path that we're on, so we're not zigzagging. That's completely ineffective. But the expectations of people in the moment are oftentimes different than they are when they step back and it doesn't affect them. So just managing that and talking to folks. I mean, I spend a fairly significant amount of time talking to folks about their expectations and what's reasonable, what's not reasonable, and that they're oftentimes difficult conversations to have. So team building, we did this 10K run, except for Josh, who did a half marathon. And I only included it because that's me on the ground after the run was over with. The rest of my team, they were able to stand upright, but me, I did finish, and I wasn't last.
Walking diagonally for a while, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there like a team of paramedics, like right outside of the picture there?
Well, they were concerned. You could see the look on their face, except for Kirsty. She just thought it was hilarious.
I
The
was
rest of them
gonna,
were Defibrillator, I don't
I was
know.
gonna try to go down there and cheer you guys on, but I'm not a morning person on my day off.
It was
I-
really cold.
I had a breakfast the day before and I thought it was the same day as my breakfast. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be there anyway. I'm gonna be up. But no, it was the next day and I was like, no, I'm sleeping.
Yeah. So,
That makes me tired.
yeah. Well, I did encourage the team that there was no shame in all of us dropping out at the same time up until the event, but they weren't going for it. They were enthusiastic about it. So I did it. Josh, who did the half marathon, I want to say, was it 13 and a half miles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
13.2, and he was almost caught up to us by the end.
Yeah. So Josh gave me a time. It's his started at 9 o'clock and he said at 10:50, I'll be back. And he crossed the finish line at 10:50. So he runs all the time and he knows his pace, but I was pretty impressed. We were all like, well, he'll be another hour and a half, and then here he come trumping along. But we did it, and I'm glad we did it. And when it gets mentioned in the future, I'm just going to look down on the ground and walk away. So. We've accomplished a lot in this last year. I think council saw by the presentation, and sometimes it's hard because we don't think about these things. We just do them to put them all in a presentation, but we're doing so many things as a group and as a team to improve the conditions of our residents. And we're always thinking forward. So, right now we're thinking of things that we're doing this year, things that we're going to be doing next year, or we're going to bring forward to you. But we're constantly thinking about how do we better the community? How do we better the city operations? And all of those various aspects. I think from a financial standpoint, like I said, other than sustainable police operations, all of our funds look sustainable right now. Our financial policies are working. Adhering to that forecast model, not only is that a powerful communication tool for the community, but it has proven to be beneficial to the city. We've employed it over the last 8 years, and you can see that we're in much better shape. I mean, we can actually do projects and we can actually meet the needs of the community in a sustainable fashion. So happy to answer any of your questions if you have any.
The list of accomplishments. Will it be posted somewhere?
In bigger font.
Yes.
We just put that in there. That's actually a list from, it's actually a list from 2018 or 2019. And so every year we should be adding to it, but it takes multiple pages to add to it. So the reason why I just put that in there is just, it's not intended to read the list. It's intended to say we're doing a lot. And we want you to know that we're doing a lot. We have done a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say showing off.
Just thinking of taking that to the Exchange Club and say, here's what we're doing in the city. Here's opportunities for us too. And so.
Yeah, a lot of those things are things like contract amendments and, a Safe Routes to School project we did is on there. That was a pretty high end project, but they wouldn't have been volunteer projects. Now the community events and those types of things, I think the Exchange Club, which was one of our goals, developing a local service organization was a goal of the council back in 2017 and 18. And helping the formation of that club was one of their goals, and we did that. And now you guys are off and you're coming back and benefiting. So it's just one of those examples of how the council had some vision that was a need to have an organized group that could help manage some of the volunteers. And we can see that those volunteer numbers growing and the efficiency of our events growing because we had the foresight to be able to do that back at that time. So yeah, kudos to the Exchange Group. All right. Any more questions? I'll make this available. We'll put this up on the website, but I'll also make it available to you. If you guys want to just review any of it, you're welcome to do that. And I finished in less than an hour, I'd like to say, which was I could have went in a lot of different directions, but I chose not to. And so we
We
got
could have
that.
just stopped you or got up and left. Put
Yeah.
that in there.
You have that on a graph for each year, how long is it?
Well, I mean, it used to be about a 2-hour presentation. Yeah.
It's gotten shorter. There's been when we first got on council, that was a long,
2.5 hours.
Yeah, yeah. We were doing a lot.
we'd take a break halfway through.
Go out for lunch.
So I think we're scheduled for a training on the 24th of February, other than our regular council meetings. And then on the 25th of March, I have planned for us to do that little mini retreat. We'll provide food on both of those training evenings. I'm not sure what it'll be yet.
The other one?
The 24th is the CIS training.
Retreat.
And then the 25th is like our planning retreat. And we'll talk about some projects, proposals, and it's really about getting direction from you. Typically, what we do is we bring forward a list of things that we could do. And you pick from those things of the things you want us to do, and then we'll come back with contracts and budgets and things like that.
Are those in the evening or are those like all day things? I don't remember.
They're both
Okay.
It
evening.
was all day last time, wasn't it? Retreat?
No, the last year when we did it, we did an evening one. We did like a 4-hour. I thought we did like a 4-hour,
It's like 10 to noon or something.
10 to noon.
And
Yeah, we scheduled this one during the week, not on a weekend, because some of you said that was difficult for you. But if you want to do a longer one and pick a different date, I mean, I've got plenty of material.
He can talk.
Thanks, Greg.
I think I was no, that was last year. I was on
And on
medical
Saturday
leave.
Or whatever.
I think the last one was on a holiday. like President's Day. or
Oh,
something.
that's right, the holiday.
It was a
One-
holiday.
We had
yeah.
I
one
think
on a
it's
holiday
President's
and
Day.
the one before that, like I was gonna bring bean bags out because I couldn't even sit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Mayor. It was a holiday and I made breakfast for everybody. Yep, I remember it now. Biscuits and gravy. What you got?
breakfast is
Great.
acceptable for dinner.
I like biscuits and gravy at night.
See this in my thing right now.
You're gonna DoorDash me some food down in Laredo?
We should.
We should, yeah. It's a meeting.
I'm kidding.
We can send you some YouTube videos of food.
That's
We'll
what we
send
do.
you
I'd
a
appreciate that.
video. We'll send you a video of Ron's State of the City so you can watch it over and over and over when you miss us.
All right, okay, so thank you, Ron, for that. Moving on to mayor and council report. Does anyone have anything to report? Walter?
Okay. I have been appointed to Marion County Materials Management Advisory Council, so MMAC, several months ago. And the little bit shorter story is it's all about helping everybody recycle better. There's a really long story about it, but this is the short story. State law ORS 459A.929 requires the DEQ to establish statewide recycling contamination reduction goals, evaluate and reevaluate cost effectiveness, establish and maintain a list of approved contamination reduction program elements. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to give everybody a magnet that'll say what you can recycle. It's going to try and help people recycle. Basically what it's going to if people are doing it wrong, there's going to be a series of ways that person like Republic or Orange or whichever company does it, they're going to actually have cameras back in the trucks again, watching what you recycle. And it's going to be a good thing. It's going to help us recycle better, but
My question is do they actually recycle the stuff we're recycling?
Whoops.
One thing too.
I was like, do we act, you can't, I don't think you would be able to, maybe you do. Do they actually recycle the things or we recycle?
That is something that we are doing.
Okay.
That's the other part of it, is there's going to be companies that are going to be able to recycle this stuff. In fact, up there in Brooks right now, apology, I don't remember what it's called, but up in Brooks, they actually have a place where they're recycling right now. Yeah.
Okay. You have a question?
No, I have a report out.
Okay. Thank you, Walter.
I attended the local public safety coordinating council and notes if anybody wants. Probably the biggest accomplishment was on the judiciary advisory committee as well. They've made a lot of progress in, getting folks represented. So that's about their charge of crimes. That was pretty good news. That's probably the best report. There was some presentations about the process. Senator Golden State has basically their stickers or cards with the QR that gives officers information. They can have people, they can just scan their phone, get all that. So I actually ordered some of those stickers. Officers can have whoever's interested. If there's a domestic violence issue, they can just scan it for our code and get some all the information. So it's not unfair. Some questions?
The only thing I have is that I don't have any questions. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm gonna be on vacation next Saturday, from Saturday to Saturday. My family asked that I actually turn my phones off because I have a tendency to work. And then on our desks, we have the flyer for the COGS annual meeting. I think we need to decide, let staff know if we're going to be attending. I believe I have to attend. I'm on their legislative committee. I mean, I probably don't have to, but I will be attending. And, oh, Ron?
So just a couple of notes for the annual dinner. Mayor, I know you like to donate a gift basket. They have said, please keep it to $100 or less.
Okay.
Please, or
We had a fairly large basket and I don't think anybody could move it around last year, so.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is I will be on vacation during the dinner, so enjoy all of you that sign up to the dinner. I won't be there.
Okay. I can still come up with cool stuff for $100, just saying. That's it, I believe. Is there anything for good of the order? Nothing? Okay. There are no correspondence and we have no executive session, so we can go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 8:23 p.m.